I don't think you focus on the body. And here's why. Because you will create a differentiation between a punch and a knife. And dealing with a knife should be not that different from dealing with a punch.
Okay.
Because if I decide to punch you with a knife, which is the best way to actually attack with a knife, the best way to attack with a knife is not all this shit. The best way to attack with a knife, come towards me, is here and there. Because it elicits that response. Here he doesn't know he's being stabbed. So he can take gut shots for a minute. He can take those shots. Especially on a knife like this. It's not a serrated one, it's not a curved one, and it's not long enough to get in and penetrate and go up into vital organs. So I can be giving these to him, and if he's pumped up and going high enough, no idea that he all of a sudden, I can't disembowel him with this. But this is our prison shank, this is our thing. So if we're going to protect ourselves, if we determine they don't have a knife and we're going to attack with a knife, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to drive up when we switch.
Thank you.
It's worth that. So we're going to drive up into the face. Then we're going to give service. We're not going to give service down here. Down here, what happens? Get scrapped. Right? Now we're wrestling over a knife. Up here, anything that comes up, try to block it. Still, if we get into the face. So the first combative knife work is not this and all this stuff. That's martial arts shit. The first combative knife work is not here and working these zones because those are parry zones, right? So you parry based on those zones. Your body is cut into diamonds. And you act based on those diamonds. If he attacks me high, I'm parrying based off of that. So when you see these deflections in martial art that move from one thing to the other, they're based off of knife fighting techniques that are based off of parries. So you're constantly cutting and you're parrying and you're blocking, and you're constantly cutting and you're parrying and you're blocking. I don't want that motherfucker to do all that shit. I want to simply get him going. And this right here offers up the ability, you're already moving back because that's the psychology of the knife. This right here offers that blocked ability. Once it's blocked, it's going straight in, and it's working the face. And if I have to fight with a knife, I'm no longer worried about shooting you in the leg. There's nothing I'm going to do with the knife that's going to control your ability to move, short of back into here and the tendons and nerves, and maybe disable the leg. And if you have to get down there, he's probably beat the fuck out of you and stabbing in the back. Bad idea. If you have to use the knife, then you're going to use the knife to kill somebody. So if you're going to kill them, eyes, nose, throat, right? So we always talk about going after with striking or anything that we do. Ears, eyes, nose, throat. So why the fuck would we take a knife and go stomach and our kidneys and arm and all these things? It doesn't stop the fight. If we had to get a knife away from somebody in a civilian role, or if you're being overwhelmed by, a person that you've taken the knife away from, or two people, we've moved beyond all the control shit. The control gives us the attack. So that's why the first thing that I do, if I have to, and you scared shit, I had a guy at SHOT Show, great guy, nice guy, 12-year knife veteran, selling specialty knives. He comes up and he goes, "You Sustuma guys, you must fight like this." With his knife. And I was like, "No, come here, let me see that knife." He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "You want to see how I fight with a knife?" It's like, "Yeah." I drove it straight to his face. What the fuck? That's how you fight with a fucking knife. I was like, right in the face, dude. I'm going to fucking put those eyes out. Because here, I have the eyes. I have the nose. I have the throat. I have the airway. I have everything that I need right here to stop a threat quickly. Nothing down here is going to, it's just like shooting them, right? This is the off switch when we shoot them. This is the off switch on the knife. The head is the off switch. Nothing down here is going to end it quickly. Even if I can get into sciatic, femoral artery, even if I can get down there, don't touch that, I don't grab your balls with it. Even if I can get down there, it's not a quick kill. Up here, if you look at the kill tables that were developed in like World War II by Farragut and Sykes in World War I, they looked up here and they started, stabbing cadavers and shit to see how quickly they would go to the point where they didn't have blood. They cannot determine based off of your heart, your weight, what your heart condition is, how fast blood will pump out of there to get them to ineffective off of it. And a knife is just as, a knife, if anything, I can cut you right here, I can cut you right here, I can cut in to these areas. But in doing so, that's more effective than fucking shooting you. Because I might hit up here and nick you with a knife. I know I can get that and come back across. But down in there, I don't know how long it's going to take you to die. So that's why all this shit, we just throw it fucking right out the window. We know that we attack up there for our vision, our airway, and our breathing, so we use the knife there. So what I want you to do is we're going to look at how do we hold a knife. Now, I have to step back from you all. We hold a knife based off of what we're going to do with the knife, right? So if you're going to hold a knife, you want to make sure, I usually get one finger, then wrap around, not this, there. I want this point on and this point on, connecting, and then the fingers in the middle. That gives me a very good strong grip. It's how I grab clothes. If I'm grabbing clothes, I grab pinky, ring finger, thumb there, and then I wrap your clothes. I don't just go, hey, come here. I wrap all the way around so I can pull it. So same thing. I want to wrap around this knife. This knife is now part of me. At that point, it depends on the knife. Those are different knives than this. Those are different design on the knife. The general movement that we're going to use this first time around is if we have to draw the knife for some reason and we have to work with it, we're not going to go low. If I go low, they're going to wrestle over the knife. If I go low, I'm not stopping the fight. We're going to go high. We're going to bring the knife into action and go high. The movement that we're going to use to go high is the same movement that we're going to use when we punch. And it's the same reason that we fucking pick up our plates like we punch. We constantly trim. Here, here. What do you work with more, punching or knife? Punching. So you're going to punch like you fucking fist fight. You can get off rapid shots, boom, 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 boom. You can get off uppercuts, side shots, you can get everything. Fuck all that crazy shit that you hear from Kali and all the knife fighters, so forth. Boxers are more effective and faster than anybody out there, so we're going to put a knife in the boxer's hands. You're going to be a boxer. It still gives you the ability to protect yourself, to just go ahead and drop that. If the strike's coming in, I can just go ahead and punch. I can still wedge. You see, I immediately go up. There's no reason for me to stay down here at all. It's immediately going in, out, and around. It's not going in and then here. Because what happens here? Yeah, the other thing that happens there, you're good. Trying to push me into fucking Bob over there, dude. Let's slow your roll, player. The other thing is, with this hit right here, is now I have to reload. If I reload, I have to rotate the body, then I have to come back across. You can see at this point, then I have to come back in, or I have to work again. I don't like doing that. Here, I can constantly be working. So that's the movement that we're going to use. You guys, both hands, grab both hands. A lot of people, they pull the knife, and they start to cut up to the face. We're not going to do that. We're going to give one slice up as we draw here, and straight to the face. We're not going to play these games. Once the knife gets into the fight, it comes up and straight into the face. At that point, we're attacking the face constantly. We've got the first element here, which is I pull the knife. That's why we keep a close arm position in here. We don't get out here because it takes time to deploy the knife out here. Our body is already trained to come to this position. So if we're in a stress situation, the body's going to come up to where it knows how to fight. So once we have the here, that's where it happens. If I have to work. At that point, after that initial strike, wherever it may be, up into here, that's when I've got access. Alright? That's when I've got access to other things that I need to do. Into here. If the knife is low, it's not going into the groin. It's going here and here, constantly. It's working here, here, here. Now the thing you'll notice is that with this grab in here, it can work very rapidly But if it's working and he grabs my arm, I can still muscle him off and continue my attack. We don't let loosey-goosey movements into the knife fight. Hey, come here. Watch this. I'll do some Russian martial arts shit on you. We don't do that. If we engage, if he grabs, and I come out there, everything that works from that point, we were right there, right? Your arm was slightly elevated, works off of this principle. Because if he starts to swing for the face, I need to be able to cover up and strike. At that point, I can use the knife to drive, to work off of him, to cut across him. Physics start to go out the window a little bit when you have a knife. And the reason that they can take that off. The reason that they start to go out the window is because the damage being done is the primary weapon. At that point, getting the right damage will lead to the equilibrium if the damage isn't such a thing that makes him stop fighting. So when you see people and they knife fight, or they grab, so grab wherever. Alright, now pull this out and you block it, right? And they start to do all these, that's not my shirt. They start to do all these amazing things like this, right? It's because they're not getting affected in knife strikes. So they're still relying on their fighting. They're still relying on this stuff. Instead, if I'm going to go after your equilibrium and I have the knife out here, I'm going to hit your equilibrium. If the knife is out, the knife leads to the equilibrium, but the knife is the first thing. It's my primary means of doing damage to you. Without the knife, what do I have? Cuff hand strike. Put the knife in here, what do I have? Face attack. The cuff hand strike leads to the equilibrium. The knife blow leads to the equilibrium. But the first thing I want to do is get that cuff hand strike right. First thing I want to do is get the knife right. So now what I want you to do is we've already got this. Bam, bam, bam. Life's pretty bad. Even if, and this is like first strike, grab stuff. Even if he somehow blocks it, the damage done is disorienting. Blood's running down, getting in his mouth, affecting the airway, affecting the breathing. Those things are, it's going to affect him. You ever see the videos of people actually getting beheaded? After a couple of them, the body ceases and tries to breathe. It doesn't. Come here, let me fucking judo roll you. Once that starts going to the face, the body starts trying to get it out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work, grab the arm. So he's grabbing and I've deployed it. Go ahead and grab it. Now here's where it starts to get interesting. Because now we are back to what we have traditionally done. So what would I traditionally do in this situation if I had a knife? Let's remember this situation, right? Here, up and around, and up. What does the knife give me the ability to do?
Cut in progress.
This, right here.
The knife becomes a pivot point. That becomes what you rotate around.
The first thing that it doesn't change anything here. It doesn't change distance.
You just put them where you...
I'm kicking to create distance because distance gets you off of me. So creating distance doesn't change. Go ahead and grab. So if he's grabbed, and I've pulled the knife and he's grabbed to control it, this does not change. What happens from there is what changes. At that point, I would not go for the arm bar, I would immediately go for the strike with the knife. Grabbing into here and keeping this headbutt right there. I always have ways over here to work. I've always got that. I always have that. Even in grabbing it.
And you just rotate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can reinforce it just hitting my knee and driving. You get fixated on this. They get driven off.
That's why most officers get in trouble because all they go for is a tool and they don't want to
go for the tool. Make the space, and if you can't make the space, keep the space where it is. At no point do I fucking back up. And that's one of the things about fighting. Unless it is a tactical retreat. Oh fuck.
Right.
I need to get the fuck back. Once we are in here, and we're locked up on this knife, and he's driving me, there is no fucking driving me at all. I am not. I'm not going backwards. And people try to go backwards to get to the gun, to get to the weapon, whatever it is. We don't go backwards. We fucking, I have to fight to get that space back. And that's what people forget. If we're fighting, and you get me back this far, if I have to step back to this foot and go back here, I have to fight to get this back and this back. That's a foot that I have to fight to get back. In this time, I can be fucking knee, sucker punch, push, or jump. If I'm in the fight right here, the fight stays right here. If he drives the fight, I stop the drive, and then I make him fight for space. So that's the one thing to remember. The moment you get driven, you stop that fucking drive. Because I don't know what's back there. There could be a car, I could fuck my back up. It's very easy for me to do. There could be somebody out there. There could be a fucking ditch. You could fall off on it. You could end up outside of your channel. Once the fight starts, if you push me, I'm fucking stopping that push. We're going to fight right there and we'll back it back up and do the damage on it. So always remember, when that happens, if you deploy it and it gets grabbed and he decides to go, that's fine. Like I said, drop it and move. and go for it. Don't worry about